Hello there everybody, Airsoft Nut here, and I've got some videos that I've been trying to upload and they've not come up yet. We been having internet problems, so we just now got our internet back. We was at the point that we couldn't even get our tablet or anything on the computer, or on the internet, so we just now got it back. So I've got some more videos, some battle videos I'm going to be uploading, and this one is probably going to get up for the rest of them, but if not, then it explains the reason why I haven't been uploading. I've lost internet. So I have been tinkering around, and I have bought me a Dremel tool to, file down and smooth out and buff out on my airsoft gun for my trigger. Because if anybody knows, a lot of your airsoft guns, sometimes they got a heavy trigger. Well, I noticed this real particular on my Red Jacket, so I decided, you know what, let's do that. Let's take it apart. Let's file it down, or not file it down. Let's smooth it out, buff it. I believe that's the word I'm looking for, and make it a smoother trigger pull. Now I've done a little bit already, not much. Just prove the gun is unloaded. Nothing in there. Okay, and it's got a much crisper. It had a lot of burrs that was digging into the side, and it's much more crisper now. And I'm going to do a little bit more, but let's look at that again. It's just a nice smooth pull. And in the process of doing this, I'm going to show you an issue that I had to go to YouTube for, because I could not figure out how to fix it. So I'll also show you this. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need several sets of tools. You're going to need a Allen. I believe that's a 2mm Allen. I do believe that's a 2mm. You're going to want a screwdriver. You're going to want a flat head. I got another screwdriver here, and I like my screwdriver and flathead and stuff to be magnetized, so I keep a small magnet on them. You don't have to have that. For me, it works great. And then you're going to want your little Dremel tool. So you're going to need, that's everything you're going to need. So let's start pulling it apart. Anybody familiar with the 1911? You pull your pin out, entire top slide comes off, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to pull the entire gun apart. And there's that piece. Now I have already cleaned this gun. This gun has been cleaned since the last battle, so it might be a little dirty from the fact of what I've already done to the gun. So, but other than that, it should mostly be clean. And it does have a BB in it. How in the world it's there, I don't know. Neither here nor there. There's your barrel. Now you can pull this assembly apart by taking your Allen and taking that apart. I do not want to go that far due to the fact that I'm not having issues there. So I don't want to fix what's not broken. So for the top slide, I'm going to stop there. You can go further. I don't want to go that much further. So again, I'm not going to fix what's not broken. And here, you'll want to take your Allen and pull the screws out. This gun has, the short time I have owned it, it has been through a lot. I have dropped it. I have kicked it. I have practically thrown it. when I'm running, if I forget to clip my holster, this gun will hit the ground and be dragging. And I can't tell you how many battles I have done that in, whether it has or has not been recorded. I have enough of that this gun has been abused very badly. And it's just come from oops moments, completely forgetting about clipping it. Here you got a pin. Just push it out. There you go. Now here, it's very tricky. Just for the simple fact that this is what my issue was. Pull that off. And see if I can't get this done. There we go. Put the hammer back up. This slides up. Now this part right here is where I was having my issue. If I can get it off without going any further. This right here is a very tricky piece. And this is what my issue was. So it's just a thin piece of metal, and it's very frustrating to take care of. Now I'm going to use the flathead for this screw right here. And now this entire assembly is ready to come out, except for a pin. Well, you can't see it. The safety and a pin that this is connected to. Now to get this safety off, I put it on safe, take it up to about halfway. For me, it's easier to use a flathead, just to kind of get a little bit of leverage on. Get down to the back there, just kind of walk it down and pop it off. Now you got two little bushings there, brass bushings, there we go. Now those there, you don't want to lose those, you need those, so don't lose those. And you got two, you got one on that one and one on this one. This one just goes straight up, straight out, and there's the other bushing. Now this gun is almost completely ready to be removed. Here's your grip safety, and right in there is where you can see where that piece of metal goes, is right there on that stuff. And I'll show you how I put it back in as soon as I get it done. Now this piece of metal right here is very tricky. You may have to use a flathead or something to help get this out, because it was in there. And once you get that apart, this comes out, and grip it like I've got it, because this assembly comes apart. This is part of your hammer mechanism, all this here. So be careful with this, you don't want to drop it. And I'll show you how to, if you do drop it, how to put it back together. And there's your trigger. Now I have already done a little bit of work on it. Just take your finger, if you want to do it like this, and just kind of drag your finger across. You feel like it's sharp or any burrs, anything sticking out. You know, you want to kind of get that off, because you don't want that on there. It's like there's some there, and you know, just a little bit of here and there. So if you want to use some lubricant, there's some better stuff than what I'm using. I'm using WD-40. WD-40 is great, but if you want to use something better, go ahead. Just take it. Not a lot, because you don't want to file it off. Just run it across the edge there. Just enough to file them burrs off. And like I said, I've done it already, so I'm not going to do too much, because I have already done it. but there is still a little bit there. And there you go. I did the underneath and some on the top here, and I'm finishing up the top of what I didn't do because I decided I wasn't going to do a video, and I decided that I was. Excuse my phone. So that's pretty much it on this. Now there's several other things you can do. I seen one video. Oh wait, I also forgot about this. This piece here, don't forget this. You don't want to lose this. Yeah, that's important. You lose this, you're going to be in trouble. That's your safety. That's part of your safety. Now, as you can tell, it is spring-loaded, but it did not just eject on me. That's because I had my safety up. And if you have it pushed down to where there's putting pressure on it, then it's going to cause an issue for your safety. But neither here nor there, it should work fine. If you take a look in there, it goes in a certain way. The longer piece goes down, and then it should just freely slide. Nothing catching, no issues. It should freely slide, and it'll do a little better. Now here, you can file this down a little bit, or polish it. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Polish it just a little bit, and you can do that into that. Okay, now here, pull this apart, pull this apart, and there you go. If you drop it and something happens, or just it falls off the table, it's apart. Now you can pick it back up and put it back together. And putting it together is not that hard. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can get tricky. Because a lot of times it don't want to stay where it needs to stay. And there you go. It's put back together. Very simple to take care of. Alrighty. I'm going to put it back together. Wait. One step. I'm getting ahead of myself. Obviously it's a little dirty. As I said, I've done some work. You want to take and wipe off what you've done, because you don't want any of that extra metal or anything like that in there, because you don't want it to be messing around in your gun. So you want to wipe off what you've done. There you go. And stick this back in there. Should go just fine. We'll go step by step how I did it beforehand. Alright, next I'm going to put the, nope, getting ahead of myself there. I need to put this in first. And this just lays right there. And it's got a groove there, and it lays on top of those. And it just goes like so. It just lays on there. Then this piece falls down. Then this piece just slides on top. Make sure you get that centered, because it won't work otherwise. Slide your safety on. For me, it works better to do this side, if you can get it on there. It likes to be frustrating at times, and it all depends on how the how this is being held. There we go. Slide it down, lock it. So now that will hold this in. And as you've seen, it was twisted. I'll put this in to check it, make sure it's all lined up. Push it down, and if you really want to check it, so you don't go put the gun back together and realize you made a mistake, I'll show you what I would do. Well, let me show you. That's spring loaded, if I'm not mistaken, right there, and that needs to go in it. Just turn your gun back, just try to get it centered as best as possible, and push it in. Take your push pin, lock it, then check it. Very nice and smooth trigger pull. Compared to what it was, it's very smooth. Maybe we can see it moving down in there. Just real nice. And if you messed up with this, I'll show you how to check that.